Hi, my name is Yvonne Souza, and my speech today is entitled Gallatin, a Strong Foundation of American History. I hope today to inform you a little bit about the city that you live in, Gallatin, and its historic significance to our nation's history. And Gallatin's a thriving city with a strong historical foundation. Foundations are important. No one wants to be in a building without a strong foundation. Historical foundations are also important. Foundations show what something is built upon. About 2 years ago, I, my husband, and our 8 children decided to make a move. We were looking for an area that had a strong economic growth as well as a strong foundation. My husband was looking for an area that had no state tax. Gallatin had all of those. When we did get here, I was very surprised to find out how much history was in the square, which is literally feet away from our home. So, the strength of Gallatin started from its very foundation as a city. Let's take a moment to learn a little bit of how this city started. Sumner County, the second largest county in the state of Tennessee, was created by an act of the General Assembly of North Carolina in 1786. It was named for Revolutionary War soldier Jethro Sumner. Gallatin was established as the county seat in 1802. It was named for Albert Gallatin, who was the Secretary of the Treasury for Presidents Jefferson and Madison. Gallatin was platted in 1803, and Andrew Jackson, who would become our 7th president, bought the first lot himself. He built a small law office. The building still stands in the center today, and he also had the first general store, which he owned. By 1862, there were 3,000 people in Gallatin and 20,000 horses. Gallatin was known for its horse breeding and racing. Race Week was a high-class event, and there are stories of women who had to sell their expensive ball gowns to pay off bad debt. 1862 also sound the year that Gallatin was first taken by the Union Army. Civil War started in 1861, and in the beginning, Gallatin and most of the northern territories in Tennessee were against the secession. But by 1861, once the fighting actually started, Gallatin threw its support totally behind the Confederate Army. Gallatin's location between the railroad and the Cumberland River made it an appealing area due to the transportation routes. It was first taken in 1862 by the Union, and then it was retaken by the Confederate General John Morgan in July of 1862, and they stayed here until the Confederate Army was pushed back to Chattanooga. And at that time, the Union came in and had a remaining presence until the end of the war. Ex-slaves actually were made into a contraband camp on the Union line. They ate troop food and earned pay for odd jobs that they did. General Payne came in November of 1862, and he stayed as the general and the leader in Gallatin for the remainder of the war. He was noted for his brutality. He was known for hanging spies, or people he believed to be spies, right out in the open in the town square. And the saying was that if General Payne came to get you, no one would ever hear or see from you again. An interesting journal was written in that time by a young 16-year-old farm girl named Alice Williamson. I gave it to you on a piece of paper. You guys can refer to that later if you want to learn more. It's pretty interesting reading. Now, the Union troop had a presence in Gallatin even after the war's end. Between devastation of war and depletion of crops and livestock, Gallatin saw a rise in crime and a loss of prosperity. 1873 also saw a cholera outbreak where 63 people, mostly children, died in the month of June alone. And it wasn't until the 19th century that Gallatin began to see a slow regrowth. Tobacco products, soybean farming, dairy helped to reestablish the city as Sumner County's marketplace. Local businesses began to thrive. The Palace Theater was built in the beginning of the 19th century, I think 1913. Actually still stands today. It was a silent movie theater. It's in use today during the weekends only, though. The new courthouse was built. There was repairing of historic buildings. And Gallatin's seen its share of prosperity and devastation, but its rebound is a testament to the American spirit. So as we end our time today, I encourage you to take some time and pass through our city square, or venture out on a fall night for one of the historic tours by our fellow citizens as they portray our historic neighbors. Look about you and see the beautiful past merged so perfectly with the prospering and promising future. Our job is to pass the history that we've been given down to future generations, because to much has been given, much will be required. Thank you.